Hi, I'm Andrei.
And I'm Allie.
And we are here for the Love is Blind podcast, Season 6, Episode 5.
Titled, She Lied to Me.
She lied to me.
She lied to me.
And the description is?
After seeing each other for the first time, the newly engaged couples head to the Dominican Republic and put their physical connections to the test.
Their physical connections to the test. That's an interesting way of putting what we just saw.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I guess it was tested for some couples more than others, as we'll discover. It's always an interesting part of a Love is Blind season when they transition to their tropical pre-honeymoon.
Yeah. It's certainly a transition from the pods.
Yeah. This episode didn't have the let's all see each other moment. So.
Oh, yeah. They didn't have a group hang yet.
No group hang yet. I think that's probably Ep 6. But it did give us a taste of how they're all getting along. Just the two of them.
Right.
And not IRL, but in something closer to that.
Yeah. I mean, I think part of it is the fact that we are still, at the beginning of this episode, continuing from the cliffhanger that was episode 4.
Yes.
And we begin with Trevor.
Who was it going to be?
And Jimmy both waiting. And, they end up asking the question at some point. Like, Trevor asks the question at some point, which broke my heart. Which is, I feel like she was going to say yes to whoever she was going to see first. And man, am I bummed. I was seeing this lead up as they were kind of showing Jimmy talk, they were showing Trevor talk, and the entire time I was like, please let it be Trevor. And about, 30 seconds into it, and I started going, no, it's going to be Jimmy. God dang it, it's going to be Jimmy.
Yeah.
That sucks.
How could you tell?
I think, honestly, it's because he's standing, seemingly ready to do a proposal, and Trevor seems to be more like sitting down and waiting.
Yeah, good call.
So I think it was like the structuring of it maybe made me think as though Jimmy is waiting to see her imminently, whereas Trevor is waiting to have a conversation. I mean, yeah.
Right.
Oh man, this was a bummer for me.
Super bummer.
And for Trevor.
Well, we like both Jimmy and Trevor, I think, but we like Trevor more.
I like
and
Trevor
I certainly
a lot.
like, I know. I know. Well, it's not Jimmy's fault, I guess, that he had two connections. I don't know. That's a polarizing statement. I think they both Chelsea and Jimmy, I don't know. Like, I know this happens all the time on the show where people have more than one connection, but it's a big thing to just lose someone that you're like, I could have married you a day ago, and now I'm going to marry someone else. I don't know. I like that Trevor was pure to her the whole time.
Yeah.
But it would be an unfair double standard to hold him to that, where she was not in that. So
yeah,
I don't know. It makes me concerned about their overall longevity as a couple.
Right.
Yeah. Too.
Yeah.
We just like Trevor a lot, and we think he would be a better match. And I think it wouldn't have mattered to Trevor as much how she looks versus, as we'll find out, it kind of really matters a lot to Jimmy how she looks. So
also, I can't help but comment as we're kind of entering this first scene. They each have 1 martini and 4 Miller beers. Just throwing out there what they're being offered for their engagement is they each have 4 bottles of beer just hanging out. Day 10, presumably.
Yeah. Well, usually because we just see the golden goblets, we don't really have a sense of how much they drink. But if this is typical, that explains a lot of this show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. that if regularly on these dates they're getting through 4+ alcoholic beverages in, I don't know how long these dates are, but I'm guessing they're not all day long. Yeah, I mean, shit, I'd fall in love with a lot of people.
Yeah. So we get into Jimmy proposing. He proposes, and I believe Chelsea is initially kind of silent before she says yes. She collapses, says she's going to throw up, but of course she says yes, and there's excitement, and
I think the throw up may have been when he said "I love you."
I think she says that she's going to throw up. She says I believe she starts the scene by saying, "I've wanted to throw up all day," and then there's a lot of responses from her of vomitation.
Because that's one way to do it.
That's the way she describes her emotions a lot. But look, ultimately, am I happy for the moment that they're having? Of course, they're both seemingly pretty darn happy. He thinks he's getting together with Megan Fox. She thinks she's getting the better deal between him and Trevor. And yeah, there's there's Jimmy, who's just kind of like I reiterates, like, I don't care how you look. Oh man, and we know that's gonna come up.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, they certainly picked their cuts for a reason, and they picked the fact that she says that she looks like Megan Fox. That they showed that to us for a reason. And then when she moves on to the next scene, it's her and Trevor.
Yep, and she comes in and tells him it's not going to work out, and it's like you can feel his heart breaking. And I think he's hurt. And he has a little bit of sharpness to him, but I get it. Like, he thought they were going to get married, and he just seems like a good dude. I think that Jimmy and Chelsea are not going to work out, and that we're going to find out in the reunion episode that Trevor and Chelsea are together.
Probably. Or that at least they went on a date or two,
Yeah.
I have to say I completely hear you on he's a little sharp.
Yeah.
He also,
but not really.
Yeah, but he also asks questions that she doesn't have answers to.
Yes.
Or in which, like, he's asking questions that you're just kind of like, well, if you made the choice for Jimmy, surely you have an answer to that. Like, he says, you're sure this is the choice that makes you happiest? She says nothing. He asks, if I had spoken to you first, would you have said yes to me? And she says nothing. So that is it's not a great look.
Nope. Yeah, he's calling her on exactly what we knew. I think she even said whoever walks in first is the one, right? That, I don't know. I just keep coming back to this show must be such a mind trip. Like, that you would be, the incentive to get engaged is so powerful. You have no real idea what's going on. You're cut off from everybody that you know. It's all you're thinking about. Yeah, like, it's not a great way to get engaged, to be like, it's 50-50, whoever walks in first. But I also understand these are highly unusual circumstances. Yeah. Right. It's not just love is blind. Love is blind. And love is blind, quick, committed, isolated. Right? Like, yeah. We need a control.
Yeah. I mean, Trevor says at one point, it's like, if I'd come in here guns blazing and just gave you my marriage speech, would that have mattered? And she doesn't really quite give him an answer, but I really had wished that he had.
I know.
There's a part of me that wishes that this scene had started with him, because maybe that would have been harder. Maybe, I mean, for him, because it's already pretty hard. Maybe the fact that he doesn't have to, like, lay it all out on the line like that. Yeah. But, yeah, I think the end result, both for her and for Jimmy, is that they do feel like they don't fully give up on the other person, and they kind of end up coming together with this sense of, I'm not sure I made the right choice.
Right.
Whereas all of the other couples, where in cases where they've kind of essentially ended up by day 10, by day 8 or 9 or whatever, that they've already given up on everybody else and that they're kind of focused on one person, they at least have the advantage of saying, well, I made the perfect choice, or, you know, as much as I could. But kind of dragging this on until like the very last days, both for Jimmy and for Chelsea, has meant that they kind of end the experience, and when they see the other person, they're like, the decision is still really fresh. And they seem to be, there's a lot more of a sense of like potential underlying regret that I don't normally see with other couples in Love is Blind, where they meet and they're just kind of like, we've made the choice, we're in it. And whereas this, they're like, yeah, totally. Yeah. And they really want to be in it, and they're kind of not.
Well, both of their would have been partners, Jessica and Trevor, gave pretty compelling closing line. I mean, we know my thoughts about Jessica, but that line she has at the end about, you know, you're going to lose it when you see me really sticks out to him.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's going to remember it, and he's going to regret it.
It's going to be on his mind.
I feel like.
And then when Trevor just has his like, I tapped your bracelet like 1,000 times.
Oh my God, that broke my heart.
I think he says you probably would get annoyed with how much I tap it. It's, oh my God.
Also, the bracelet that she got him, let's not forget. That was the thing that she got for him.
Yeah, it was like, girl, just... I wonder what would happen if she had said yes to him after she said yes to Jimmy.
Yeah. Huh?
Yeah, if the producers are like, sorry, Jimmy. But yeah, it's so... Yeah, I really love Trevor.
Yeah, and the moment where he's like, I don't really want to go back out to the room crying, so I'm just going to sit here for a while. I'm just going to
sit here so you can leave. I'm just going to be here. Oh my God, there's just so much. Yeah, this guy. I hope that, yeah, either we're going to find out at the reunion that they're together, which I think is more likely, or we're going to find out that he's with someone awesome, and then we're going to see a very pained Chelsea. But I don't see her being happy with Jimmy. Yeah. So we move from them to Jeremy. And he's calling things off with Sarah Ann. She is upset, but also fair.
Yeah.
And it's nice that he's giving a decision. But I also appreciate that when she's back in the women's quarters and talking about it with Laura, that she says, you know, I'm happy people are finding love. That seems like she's hurt, but she's ultimately kind, I think. Yeah.
And you know, I think we might have mentioned on a previous episode, Jeremy is not my favorite.
No, we don't.
Dude.
Yeah, he's not the worst, but he like a little bit sucks, right?
And boy, does he show that off a little bit later.
We're gonna find out even more.
But and then, you know, they Laura and Sarah Ann hug it out, which is, again, like to your point, it's like they're really kind and gentle to each other. And then we get Jeremy with the proposal.
And she says yes. You know, I've been reflecting on it, and I think I have figured out what it is that I don't super dig about Laura. Although, again, she's not the worst that we've seen on the show. And I think it's that, yes, she's into Jeremy, but I think also she just wants to win. And there is that competitiveness with her that she's really like, I'm going to be your friend, but I am here to win. And that's the vibe I get from her.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What are we winning?
Being the chosen one.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see that. Although, yeah, I mean, she says that he has been the number one choice since the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And, they say yes to each other, and he walks away with his little airplane.
It's like airplane pillow?
Airplane pillow. Why does he have that?
I know.
Why does he have that with him
Because he
today?
just kind of sucks.
What?
I mean, so many things that we've seen from him and that we're going to see are just explained by that. His, what did I call it? Randiness.
Randy, yeah.
Yeah, he's just like kind of immature dude, not even kind of, he is. And yeah, that would be a pretty sobering reality if you found out on day one of seeing him in person that you're like, yeah, I'm irritated with you already. But we don't get to see that quite yet because we first see the big reveal between Chelsea and Jimmy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And boy, what a reveal.
Boy, what a milquetoast chemistry we find here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It is. This is interesting. I mean, does he hedge his bets with kind of like, I'm really attracted to her personality, really. So I hope there's a little bit of an attraction there, but I think it won't matter. But I do hope that she looks good. But I really don't think it'll matter.
Right.
Yeah. So, they see each other, and initially it was a little bit unclear, like how he truly felt. Like, to your point, like, I wasn't sure exactly like how much, like some of it is nervousness, but then he kind of just comes out and says it, in a talking head, while they're sitting down, which is, she lied about how she looked. Mm-hmm. She lied to me.
And it's cool, and I don't care, but like, you just say for the record, she did lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when they're sitting down, they do seem to kind of hit on, they start to notice a little bit of that energy with each other. They're like, are you okay? Because something seems off. And it's true that they literally, they are probably in the moment, they're kind of going like, did I make the right choice? Did I pick the right person?
Right. And to be telling her in this moment about his inner struggle, to me was him sort of being in a, hey, I want to connect with you, but I'm also not feeling this, so let me be emotionally vulnerable about something.
Yeah, when he says that he would have wanted to go home. Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm in her shoes, I'm like, come on, man. We've already talked so much about Jessica. You can't do it right now. I think I'm realizing with Jimmy, I was saying he's not ready for the level of reality that you'd have to confront being with Jessica.
Yeah.
I think he might just not be ready for a level of reality about marriage and commitment at all.
That's very true. That is very true. There might be a lot of that.
Yeah.
And I think we've seen this. I'm trying to recall in what situation we've seen this before. Oh, it was, gosh, I'm blanking on his name, but from season 5, our country boy who stopped talking after they got together.
JD. Yeah.
Yeah. Just a situation like that where it seemed like they were like, suddenly they weren't, the person wasn't what they were expecting, what he was expecting. And then they begin kind of formulating some other reasons as to why this is not going to work, or kind of sowing doubt in their mind. They seem to be, even as they're, sitting on the bench and they're proposing to each other, they're justifying their decision to each other quite a bit, it seems like.
Yeah.
Like, we totally got along, right? Yes, we got along. We totally got along. And yeah, I am. It's going to be interesting to see how this develops in future episodes.
I think it's going to be kind of painful to watch. I mean, I really hope that they are editing it to make it focus on the lack of physical attraction that he expresses. Because man, if it really is like that, that is rough. That's going to mess a girl up for sure, you know.
Yeah.
And by the way, like, who do you think you are, Jimmy? Like, you know?
Yeah, you're not God's gift to earth either.
Yeah.
You know?
And
you're no Adonis. I mean, not to say that he looks bad, but you know.
Yeah, he's like totally fine. Yeah, but
he's totally fine.
He wants some fantasy dream girl, and even then, I don't know if he'd want to commit, because I just don't think he wants to be committed right now. I think he thinks he should.
Yeah.
You know, he's a Southern country boy, and he's probably getting a little long in the tooth by those standards, but it's not what he wants. And
to also to reinforce, I don't think either of us are saying that Chelsea is unattractive.
No, totally.
But I think Jimmy has a very specific idea in mind of what he thought she looked like, and maybe who he expected he was going to get out of this entire experience, right?
Yes.
I think there's an aspect to him that was just kind of like, yeah, the whole experiment is Love is Blind, but ultimately everybody's really hot, right? I think from his perspective, he is not getting the Megan Fox that he thought he was getting, you know? Mm-hmm. He in the little cutaway doesn't necessarily say too much. Like, he seems to imply that there are other things about her physicality that she's lied about or like misrepresented about. And we haven't seen that necessarily. In fact, what we've seen, even when she says people compare me to Megan Fox, she very specifically stresses it's because of my hair color and eyes.
Right.
I have blue eyes and dark hair. So she doesn't say I look like Megan Fox.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
But that's what he takes. That's what he walked forward with, you know?
Right. She didn't lie. Yeah.
So unless there were other things that she, you know, misrepresented or whatever, I think that she's fine. And he had a fantasy image in his head.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he's just any girl he would find a flaw in right now because he just doesn't want to get married.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But yeah, we'll see. I guess they'll probably be the villains of this season. I don't know.
Yeah, we will see. We do move on to Jeremy and Laura, their proposal. Laura seems like they both seem really into each other. I think they're both happy to get the person that they got, you know? Mm-hmm. And it is funny, but the reality of him, I think, begins sinking in pretty quickly. Because in person, he does behave a little bit maybe differently. Yeah, it is really strange to see this, because I think, like you, I'm seeing the future them getting annoyed at each other already. For some reason. I'm like witnessing it, and I don't even know what about it I'm noticing, because for the most part they look like they're acting fairly cute to each other. They're like looking at each other's hands, but then he starts, you know, talking, you know, implying his penis size, presumably by saying I have big hands and big feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I think this is a couple that we're only going to really start seeing their. I think their being together in real life is going to be the thing that kind of like pushes them apart potentially, in the same way that, you know, we just saw with Jimmy and Chelsea for different reasons, very different reasons, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't think there was anything in that particular engagement scene that if that was all we ever saw of Jeremy, it would be fine. I just thought he was such a tool in the pods
Yeah.
that I'm already firmly disliking him by this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very validated.
Yeah.
We cut back to Jimmy and Chelsea. And
yeah,
Jimmy,
we've moved on to. Are we in the Dominican Republic? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we've finished the pods. We have finished the pods. We have 5 couples, and we have the Lachey's introducing the resort that they're going to be staying at, and the first couple we land on after our little summary of the couples is, to your point, Jimmy and Chelsea, who we immediately, very quickly get onto her insecurity about her look. He mentions that he forgot what she looked like, and she immediately kind of takes that very personally. And then their conversation goes into this like deep dive on Jimmy's part onto his choice between her and Jessica.
Yeah, and what he assumes is her having, I don't know, lied again, that she said she wouldn't tell anybody.
Right.
He said he loved her, and then he was reamed by Jessica. So
right.
Yeah.
This is the first of our uncomfortable scenes where Chelsea I don't think wants to be there in this moment. She's like, this isn't really not what I'd like to be talking about right now. I don't think.
I agree that is what's happening, but I also think it's not the first. I mean,
oh yeah,
in the pods,
I see. Yeah,
when he would come in being like, there were several dates where he came in being like, I'm all sorry, I'm all flustered from Jessica, and then even at their engagement, he's talking about that, and it's like, come on, dude.
I mean, Trevor points it out. My guy Trevor. He's like, "Are you sure you're making the right choice?" Treasure. He's like, "Are you sure you're making the right choice by picking a guy who up until now has been just thinking about this other person too, like, and unable to make a choice?"
Yeah.
So much so that he's kept delaying it.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Yeah, I think Jimmy may suck more than I was giving him credit for, but he's just more understated about it.
Yeah, I mean,
so it flies under the radar.
I love in this conversation when he's like, and Jessica told me that I'd like really regret it, and then Chelsea's like,
what? Do you think
he's
of
like,
that? He's totally fishing. Yeah,
because she's like totally talking about how hot she is, right? Am I right? Like, am I?
Yeah, I mean. Do you think she is? I don't know. I mean, you saw her. I haven't seen her.
I mean, considering the point of the experiment, it shouldn't even matter, right?
But just now that we're together, you could just tell me, like, is she?
And then he's like, I could say I can't wait to get there, as in to see her, but I can wait. And I'm like, can you? It sounds like you really want to find out what you said no to.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of justification of like, I chose you, but like,
we're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Chelsea is already pretty insecure about not just how she looks, but partly how she looks. I mean, she was also like, I didn't go to college. I was only flight attendant. Like, there's other reasons. And his hesitation, it's just this total cycle.
Oh yeah, it's gonna circle between them quite a bit, and it seems to be only getting worse. I mean, he points it out too, which is that he's noticing her behave differently than she was in the pods, and part of it is the fact that I think, there's certainly an amount of it where they're both insecure about each other having been the other person's maybe first or second choice, and that is just kind of amplifying itself. It's a feedback loop between the two of them. And they're both, you can tell that they're trying really hard to just be smiley and in the moment. And then, like, when it fades to neutral, they're kind of like,
Yeah, I think he's trying hard to be smiley in the moment because he's like, I really want to be cool with this because I made my decision. And she's trying to be smiley in the moment because she's like, I really want this guy to like me, so I'm going to ignore all these feelings inside about I feel kind of bad right now.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's bad. Bad vibes. Yeah. Speaking of bad vibes, the next couple we jump to is Laura and Jeremy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they are already kind of, I mean, the scenes that were being shown are of them kind of critiquing, like
Cuddle fighting.
cuddle
Yeah.
fighting. They're just kind of like, mwah, mwah, mwah. Also, your neck isn't that thick. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I'm
Uh-huh.
going to blow raspberries on your face. Get out of it. Like, there's...
We're just teasing.
And I feel like Jeremy's just kind of like, I won. I got the person I need. I am now going to revert to my personality, which is to absolutely not care about how I behave. I'm going to jump into the pool in my clothes. I'm going to act just like just a little, like a little boy. He's kind of acting like a little boy. He's
Yeah,
like,
he is. Yeah.
yeah. He's like a frat bro in some ways. He's just like, I don't know. He's trying to make her laugh with like physical comedy, and it's not
And
working.
she's like, "Can you just be chill for a minute?" Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, the energy that I got between the two of them is that he's like the annoying little brother that she has to watch, and she's like wondering, is this my life now?
Yeah.
God.
Not a good mood. The thing is, I think he was like that in the pods, although I agree he probably was more. I agree with what she said. They probably had deeper conversations in the pods, so maybe that was masked. But I think he did demonstrate this in the pods. But Laura looked the other way because she wanted to win. And
Right.
now it's like, now that she's won, and she's like, what's my prize? And she's like, oh, wow, you suck. So that will be, I don't think they're going to end up together, but
Yeah.
to a better couple.
Better
A
couple.
better couple. I was like, how do I feel about that word choice? I'm going with it. We have Amy and Johnny, who just seem sweet.
Yeah. They seem to be getting along. Once again, Amy brings up the, like, I don't think I would have ever chosen him if I just saw him in real life. I would have never paid attention to him on a night out, which is I mean, she is kind of saying, like, I'm not that attracted to him, which is fine. Because overall they seem to be into each other. Whether it's, they're channeling Love is Blind, right? They're channeling a little bit of like, we're in love with each other, even though from her perspective maybe he's not who she'd pick. I certainly think from his perspective he's like, she's hot, and that's fine. But I think
Hotness transcends culture and race, baby.
Yeah, I think maybe she is just maybe a little bit more reticent about the physical attraction.
Yeah, I think it's a physical attraction thing and also a cultural background thing,
Right,
that
right.
She's like, I'm very into family, and she just wouldn't have naturally gone for that, but
Right.
they do seem to be getting along just fine. As does Clay D.
Clay D.
Yeah.
AD and Clay are doing just fine. They are two just really ripped, attractive people.
Yes.
Walking into a pool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. And they certainly have their they seem to have a pretty solid connection. I think at this point a lot of it is feeling a little physical for the two of them. I am curious how, if things are going to get a little bit more real as they kind of open up more emotionally again. Now that they're in person, I am wondering whether for a while they're just going to be kind of overwhelmed by just the physicality of it. But yeah, they seem to be doing pretty well. And that's cool.
Yeah, I think they do have a more emotional connection too, and then they're like, you're banging, so great. Yeah, we'll see how they transition back to that, but I feel like they will. Yeah.
He also helped me clarify a little bit about the wedding band thing. I have to admit, I wasn't really sure.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the
Wow, I guess
rings.
you're not I guess you don't have cultural messaging from a very young age that you have to get married. And here's all the details about how.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Wow.
men really aren't told like what's the engagement ring, what's the band. Yeah, I don't really
Yeah.
know all
No,
that.
I was when I was probably like 6 years old, I was given a game called Perfect Wedding. So that's what my experience has been like. But yeah, I
Yeah,
guess it's different.
it's different. It's different.
Yeah,
And
that explains a lot.
hey, there's a good chance at the end of AD and Clay that they're off to, not to be crude, but the bone zone.
Good thing you tried not to be crude.
I tried. No, I mean they say it. They're like, I think I'd be open to having sex, and I'm saying that having seen now a few seasons, especially when you compare it to something to like Love Is Blind Brazil, where they're just kind of like,
Oh, yeah.
first night, everybody's not only having sex, but then howling out the window.
Howling about it, yeah.
Yeah. So the vibes are a little bit different, but the two of them seem to be, like those two seem to be potentially leading into that direction, and they certainly have a lot of physical attraction to each other, a lot of chemistry there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was a remarkably low sex on the first night meeting. I don't know if it's a Southern thing too, but we'll see. Speaking of no sex, we come over to Kenneth and Brittany, who are having a really sweet interaction, and I love that they both have their glasses on. It's so adorable, and that Kenneth is like, I just really want to emotionally connect with you every night, like melt.
Yeah.
Yeah, super sweet.
Yeah. I love a good check-in, a good bedtime check-in.
Yeah. Yeah.
We certainly do that.
We do
pretty
that.
frequently.
Yeah.
So
and it's awesome.
Yeah.
And I love that you're into it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's real cute. And I couldn't tell at first whether she, like, how into it she was, but she seems to be pretty into it overall.
Yeah, I agree.
And I like that they're noticing things about each other, but in a cute way. Like, she's mentioning like the water bill is going to be high because they like to take long showers, and he's not defensive about it.
It's genuinely playful.
Yeah.
Right.
It seems pretty cute. Yeah. I think they have, high odds to continue. Also, I'm not necessarily trying to comment on people's looks, but I think Brittany looks fantastic with glasses on.
I agree.
Put that out there.
You know what? I agree.
I almost didn't recognize her.
Yeah,
I was like, oh,
I think she should wear them all the time.
Yeah, those glasses look fantastic. Yeah, it's a really good look. Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. And then, and gentlemen, and then.
The Aqua word.
We come back.
That is Chelsea and Jimmy.
Chelsea and Jimmy brushing their teeth.
Brushing teeth. All right.
And bristle
Continuing
hardness.
to be not that into each other. Well, or he's not that into her, and she's desperate to get him to be into her. That's what's happening there. Yeah. He does face lotion. It's like they're trying to be chill with each other.
Yeah. I mean, they seem to be playful during their like little bedtime routine until they lay down. And then there's like this, man, it's like you can, like their faces are leaning in and their bodies are leaning away.
Yeah, their body language this is really tense and awkward for me. I think even in the toothbrushing scene, we're both trying to force ourselves to think this is cool.
Yeah.
Again, I think for different reasons, but they both have this, we're going to make this work energy.
Yeah, I mean, there's the oh man, the back and forth about where she's like, I said you have cute eyes. That was a good answer. And he's like, yeah. And I said that you have like nice teeth. And she's like really, really self-conscious about it. It's clear. And she doesn't like that he said that. Mm-hmm. I will also grant the fact that some of this, they may be awkward because there's a camera crew there, That's a thing to keep in mind, but also, yeah, she keeps bringing back like the answer I gave you was good. See, I gave you a good answer. I said that you have nice eyes. That was a good answer. And she does not like his answer.
Yeah. Yeah, which he was trying to be PG, he said. But she's just wanting validation that she looks attractive, which she's not going to get from him. I wonder if she felt really confident, actually.
Mm-hmm.
If that would make a difference too, right?
Right.
If she looked exactly how she looks, but she just thought she was like hot as hell, I think that would be a difference as well. Like, she's
huge
very
difference.
insecure about it.
Yes, she is.
And
And she's insecure about him thinking that. And I think she's thinking this entire time that he's not that into me.
Yep.
And that he's going to see Jessica and he's going to change his mind about me and that he's going to regret it. I think there's a lot of narratives going on in her mind. And I think if she was just confident in herself, a lot of that would be silenced. But, you know, obviously, like, just saying be confident isn't is like all of us, not all of us, but a lot of us struggle with, you know, anxiety about how we look and all this kind of stuff. It makes sense that, you know, that she has some, like many people do, just a little anxiety about feeling attractive to others, to their partner, etc. So,
but I think she is also beautiful.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just, I think she's got some deep-seated insecurity, and that really shows through. She doesn't think she's sexy, and so it doesn't come across as she thinks she's sexy.
Right.
Yeah. I know. Is right.
Yeah. So we end the episode with all of the couples, you know, turning off the lights, and genuinely a little unclear how this night is going to go for any of these couples. I'm curious whether that's something that's going to be that they're going to talk about openly in the next episode.
We'll find out.
I guess we'll find out.
As will you all when we do episode 6.
Right. The last one until
next
the
week.
Next batch.
Yep.
Right.
All right, y'all. Well, if you like this content, please subscribe to us, follow us, write us 5-star reviews, and interact with us. We really like it.
Also, if you want to be really cool and be our friend, wish us a happy anniversary, because it's our anniversary today.
It is our anniversary. Yay.
Yay.
Aw.
I love you.
I love you too.
And we will see you all soon.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.